My Battlestorm Stalingrad series is currently 9 hours and 59 minutes long. Operation Crusader was 9 hours and 13 minutes long, meaning that Battlestorm Stalingrad is currently, as far as I'm aware, the longest single documentary series on one battle in history. Woohoo! But it's no wonder then that this being as long as it is, that I'm making some mistakes. I knew that I wouldn't get through this entire series without making a single mistake, and I've made quite a few minor ones, like the 151. 350 minus 250 equals 150. Basic math. And obviously I mispronounce names all the time, like the milk farm, milch farm. But minor mispronunciations and errors aside, I knew that eventually in this series, because it's a long series, that I was going to make a bigger mistake than, some of the minor ones. And it turns out that I have made a mistake. Yes. But I want to point out right now that some people have stated previously that I make mistakes all the time and I never admit them, which is complete false. I've made a load of mistakes and I have made videos saying that I've made mistakes. Hey guys, so this evening I released a video entitled The State of Soviet Artillery on the eve of Operation Barbarossa. And for the 2,000 of you who actually watched the video, the good news is that the conclusion we came to was correct. But partway through the video I did mess up. Basically, there is a chart I showed which was I was talking about the artillery pieces that they lacked, but the percentages that I showed were incorrect. So I just want to point out to those people, no, I make mistakes all the time, and I'm happy to admit my mistakes, because ultimately, as somebody else pointed out, the truth is what's most important here. Historians make mistakes all the time. That's fine, because when another historian calls them out on it, or whatever, or we have a discussion around it, we will get to the truth. So making mistakes is part of the scientific process, the scientific method. It's part and parcel of it. But yeah, I do make mistakes, and here is one of them. So I said in episode 15 of the Battlestorm series that the Volga Germans were evacuated in the August and September of 1942. This order had been issued on the 28th of August, but now on the 2nd of September 1942, the evacuations began. Wrong. It's wrong. It's 1941. The August and September 1941. Now that's kind of a big mistake, and it's totally my fault. I'm admitting it. I am taking responsibility for it. My mistake. But I'm going to explain to you why I made the mistake, because I kind of think it's important that you know how I made this error. And in order to do that, we're going to take a look at this book. This is Turning Point by Popov. I don't think you can see the name there. Now this is a Russian author, Russian book translated into English. You can actually get it from theleapinghorseman.com, I think it is. Jason DeMark's website, it'll be in the description. I assumed, because it's called Turning Point and because it's about Stalingrad, it would be about 1942, and it is mostly. It's like, except for the Volga German bit. Basically what it does, it goes 1942, 1942, 1942, 1942, 1941, about the Volga Germans, 1942, 1942, 1942, 1942. It just carries on. So it's just like literally just one page of just, oh, it's 1941 now, and then we're going to talk about the Volga Germans, and then we're just going to move it back on to 1942. I didn't see, when I was reading it, I didn't see the 1941 bit. And my eyes just didn't glance over the date. I just saw August and September. Oh, it must be August, September 1942. And I misread and misunderstood it. So that is how I made the mistake. And as I put in the pinned comment of the video and in the description, this kind of reinforces what my belief, which I've always had. When you're writing a history book or you're making a series like I am doing here, it really should be in chronological order. Now, I know there's a lot of people out here that don't believe that. Not mentioning any names. Some people believe that it's wrong to go in chronological order. I don't get it. I've explained why this is a bad thing. If you watch my PNR video, that pretty much explains why it has to be put in chronological order, because the South African historians in that case, it was mostly in chronological order, and then they went out of order just slightly, and that brought them to a completely different conclusion. So if you put it into chronological order, you come to the correct conclusion. If you put it just slightly out, just once or twice, that's all they did, was enough to get you to come to the wrong conclusion. And so I think that all history books, especially when talking about battles and campaigns, should be written in chronological order, except unless you're then discussing the concepts. This book, its major flaw is that it's all over the place. Great, lots of Russian accounts, etc., but it's just like all over the place. And in this case, I didn't say, oh, it's talking about 1941 for some reason now. Didn't see that, and so that's how I made the error. But there might be another reason or two as to why I'm making some of these minor errors, and also, this big error as well with the book. And that has to do with the scheduling. I do weekly videos. Every single week I do one video on a Monday, 5 p.m. GMT, watch out for British summertime. But Stalingrad, the series, let's say Stalingrad series is 50 episodes long. There's no way that I can do 50 episodes in a row. It's just impossible, right? It's bad enough as it is, right? Forget Palace and the Sixth Army marching towards Stalingrad, being exhausted before they get to Stalingrad, right? Before they even reach the city. I've not reached the city yet, and I'm damn well exhausted, right? I'm burnt out right now. I can tell you that. I can promise you that. People are like, don't burn out. Too late. I've been burnt out since March. So I am burnt out getting to this city. But I knew prior to this, and I realized this back in the day, I think when I did Operation Crusader, I realized that there was no way that I could do weekly videos again. It was just impossible. So what I decided to do was, for Kurland, was do it bi-weekly. But even that was exhausting. So I'd now decided for Stalingrad, I would do it bi-weekly, but then I would split it into seasons. So each season would be 3 episodes, right? So let's do that. 3 episodes long, but there would be a gap between the seasons. I tried to make this clear at the beginning, but this doesn't seem to have got through to people, or some people understand it, other people don't. So I'm going to try and explain it again so that we're all on the same page, right? That the way it works is this. The season starts and we have 1 episode of Stalingrad. We have another episode of something else, non-Stalingrad. Then we have another episode of Stalingrad. Then we have a non-episode of Stalingrad, something else. Then Stalingrad again. So Stalingrad, non-Stalingrad, Stalingrad, non-Stalingrad, not Stalingrad. Then the season is completed. We have finished that season. And then there's a gap while I prepare for the next season of a few episodes. And then we carry on. The gap, I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm probably averaging about 6 or 7 weeks at the minute between each one, and there's a reason for that, we'll get to it, but that's how I set up the series, because I understood that I would burn out. I am burnt out anyway, so this hasn't worked, but the idea was to try and avoid burnout with the series. During a season, the reason why it's bi-weekly is because it takes 2 weeks to do the animations. So some people are like, why don't you just release it weekly? Okay, I'll just bend time to fit my will. Like, I can't do it. There's no way. I have actually recently made a breakthrough with the animation software. I've actually speeded up my ability to edit and animate and all that other stuff, and yet it still takes almost 2 weeks now. You know what? As an example of how much work goes into this, let me just show you. So this is video 15. This is just the video files for video 15 of the Stalingrad series. Let's right-click and go to Properties. 141 gigs. 141 gigs just for video 15 of the Stalingrad series. Why? And bearing in mind, that's not including the unit files or the map files. That is just the files for video 15 of the Stalingrad series. Why is that the case? Well, if we go into it, you'll see there's a map file here, and it's got a load of different maps where there's millions of pictures, and each one of these is 1 frame of animation. So you can see 1 frame of animation, and there's loads of them. Well, this is just one. There's loads of different ones. This is actually inside Blender now. This is the software I use to animate the videos. You can see the frame rate's not very good, but you can see the animations going ahead and doing whatever they're doing. And each one of these frames, this is a frame thing, each one of these frames has to be rendered out, which takes forever and a day. And, you know, there's a lot of behind the scenes going on as well. I can't really explain it to you. If in fact I selected, this is just... there's no way to explain this. There is no way. But basically, there's a lot of work that goes into this just to make this happen. Now, I was originally doing everything in Premiere Pro, but Premiere Pro can't handle this many units on the field of battle. So I have to do things in Blender now. And even though I've figured out a way to speed the process up, it still takes forever and a day. It's a rush just to get... And I panic every single week trying to get... When the season's on, I panic and try and get the stuff done. It's such the amount of work that goes into it. So there's no way I can do it weekly. And even bi-weekly is bad enough. Because if you think about it, if it takes me almost 2 weeks to do the animations and the editing and everything for the Stalingrad videos, that means I don't have time to do the non-Stalingrad videos in between, or any of the research, the reading, the script writing, anything like that. And this is partly the reason why my patrons will vouch for this, and I'm eternally, sorry for it, but the reason I haven't been responding to you on Patreon, or even responding to Anton Jolly's emails, is because I am run off my feet and I'm burnt out. Every single day, at the end of the day, I have a headache, and I literally go to bed. Almost. That's pretty much every day. I'm not saying I work flat out, because I don't, because I have to eat. I have to do things like that. But I am working quite solidly on this sort of stuff, and I do have breaks now because I've realised that I need breaks. But even that's not good enough, and I have no spare time, basically. Very little spare time. I've had 14 days off this entire year, and 4 of them were in 1 week because it was my friend's 50th birthday, so it was a special occasion. But otherwise, I've not had many days off, and I can't afford to take any. I was hoping to take one off. This will be Monday, so I was hoping to take one off yesterday, which I won't be able to do because I'll be editing this video. Way! And I'm also rushing to do the scripts for the next season, because that's the whole point. I can't do much in the seasons, so I try to do everything in between the seasons so that I'm ready to edit the stuff when we're on the season. Also, some people genuinely think I press a button and a script just magically appears. Well, I can promise you now that's not what happens. One guy recently was like, all you do is quote from glance. It's not hard to read from glance. Yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, all I do is sit down for 2 seconds, press a bunch of buttons like a moron, and then a video just appears out of nowhere. Whoa. Yeah, Captain Moron here doesn't have a clue what actually goes into creating these videos. In fact, there's a lot of YouTubers out there who have done videos explaining how difficult it is to be a YouTuber. In fact, there's a video I came across the other day which is about an animator channel, and they explain how difficult it is to be an animator on YouTube, and that's the same bracket that I'm actually in right now with these Battlestorm videos. Another good one is South Park's 6 Days to Air, which is just... yeah, the exhaustion that they go through, that's pretty much what I'm going through. It's actually really good, that one. But the point is, more work goes into this than I think people realise, and the current script count for the Stalingrad series, just the script, currently, for the first 5 seasons, is 80,682 words. That's just the script count, and that's the end script count, and not all the editing and putting it all together, and the research and the reading that goes before that, or even speaking it. I've had to speak 80,682 words. It takes, on average, 6 hours to record the audio for 1 episode of the Stalingrad series. So it's 6 hours of me speaking into a microphone per episode just to get the audio for you guys to then hear. Each episode of Stalingrad is like 30, 40, even 50 minutes long at some points, and I've got to speak all those words, and plus not just English words, German, Russian, sometimes Ukrainian, sometimes other words as well. There are sometimes stupid sentences I have to repeat several times just to get it right. And I can't just, read it like a robot or something like, hello, this is Tick, welcome to Stalingrad, here is some tanks. Like, I've got to actually put some effort into it and make, and articulate the words and make this sound interesting and engaging, because if I don't do that, obviously people will click off. And then I've got to do this green screen, I've got to do other videos on top of this, and put all the references in. Obviously, Terry's helped me out a little bit editing wise, and she does the thumbnails, but a significant portion of it is on me. I'm doing most of this. So bottom line, I don't think people realise what goes into this. And, I've had a few jobs, the most difficult one being a manager in retail. Now, that pales in comparison to the difficulty here. That was difficult in its own different way and was stressful and whatever else. This is a completely different ball game. So I enjoy the job, I like it, but it's difficult and it can be taken away at any moment. But the problem is, at the minute, is that YouTube has screwed me over. Why has YouTube screwed me over? Well, I was trying and planning to do videos about, and this was in relation to some Patreon questions, the difference between fascism and Nazism. What is fascism? What happens when fascism is implemented? What happens when non-fascism is implemented? Let's not mention any other names, because apparently that just triggers everyone. I tried to do that. I started doing that. Austria-Hungary video, the Greek video, and we know how they turned out, because obviously YouTube doesn't like the fact that, oh, what's that? When you lock up an economy, it leads to starvation, does it? Really? Oh, why are they not happy for that information to float out there? I wonder why. Okay, so YouTube screwed me over because I started doing these videos and I realized my subscribers weren't getting notified, or if they were, they weren't interested, maybe, perhaps. But also YouTube then age restricted the video and started deleting my own comments in my own videos, especially those comments that were calling out anti-Semitism, which is very interesting. And so because of that, I then was like, well, I can't make these videos, I'll have to make something else. In the middle of season 4 and then season 5, I was like trying to scramble to make some other videos. And I did make other videos, and that's fine. But the point is that has burnt me out even more and has derailed me, because I'm like, well, I have these Patreon questions to answer, but I can't answer them because of YouTube censorship. And it's not just YouTube censorship either, is it? But anyway, I just want to point out I can do videos on these Patreon Q&As. It's just they're not going to get any views. It's not all about the views, but it's pointless me making a video or putting a lot of effort into it if people aren't going to see it. So it's, like these videos here, Patreon Q&As, no problem. Gleiwitz incident, just didn't perform. Irving, let's not talk about that one, because that's just not. But then it's like, I put a ton of effort into this 31-minute or 32-minute Greek video, Greece in World War II. I've been planning that for 2 years almost. Limited, age restricted, you name it. It was well liked, but unfortunately, just like, no, people were complaining they weren't getting notified about it. Obviously, a lot of people who watch, oh, you have to be over 18 to learn. You're like, okay, YouTube, that's a stupid thing. That's not a stupid policy. But people were telling me, no, we weren't getting notified of this video. And then because YouTube suppressed this video, they kept on suppressing videos for a little while longer. The Chetnik video, I was surprised how well liked that one was. But again, that was, these views are really low. Nigel Ascay video did okay. Friedrich Kellner, why did that one do so bad? In fact, the point is, these, I can do the videos on these Patreon Q&As. They're just, for some reason though, YouTube's just gonna not send the videos out there for some reason. But the Friedrich Kellner one, if you haven't seen it, there's a reason why you really should. You might be interested to know that his grandson, a guy called Robert Kellner, actually commented in the video, and I pinned the comment. So if you want to read the comment by Friedrich Kellner's grandson, the guy who translated the book into English, by the way, go and check out that video and watch and read the pinned comment, because it's interesting. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.